Ethan Harper was a man who thought he'd experience everything life could throw at him. Power, vast wealth, cutthroat betrayals. He'd navigated them all with cold precision. Yet nothing could have prepared him for the revelation that came from four sleek black American Express cards. When he decided to test the women in his orbit, he braced for selfishness and opportunism. What he never anticipated was the quiet integrity of his housekeeper, Ellie Grayson, whose decisions would dismantle his jaded worldview and pull him back into a forgotten realm of genuine human connection. From that point forward, Ethan's existence stopped revolving around fortune. It became about rediscovering something far more valuable. Ethan Harper tossed his custom Armani suit jacket onto the buttery leather sectional, the thud reverberating through his floor-to-ceiling windows that framed the glittering Chicago skyline. His jaw was set tight. "I'm done," he growled under his breath. Mason Reed, his executive assistant of nearly a decade, leaned against the granite island with arms crossed, unfazed. He'd witnessed Ethan's fury during hostile takeovers and nine-figure deals, but this felt different, personal. "What happened this time?" Mason asked evenly. Ethan exhaled sharply, pacing like a trapped predator. "She raised a glass of vintage Dom to us getting back together, then immediately snapped a selfie with the creme brulee like I was some kind of status symbol. Am I a person to her, Mason, or just another asset appreciating in value?" "It was one dinner," Mason pointed out calmly. "Dinner?" Ethan stopped abruptly. "She said she missed me and my private jet in the same breath. No one sees me anymore. They only see the zeros in my accounts." His voice cracked, a rare fracture in the armor he usually wore so effortlessly. Mason remained quiet. He knew when silence was wiser than words. Then a spark lit in Ethan's eyes. "That's it. No more performative affection, no more calculated charm. I'm running my own test." Mason's brow furrowed. "A test? Last time you said that, 3 executives lost their jobs and the Dow dipped." "This is different," Ethan said, voice low and intense. "I'm issuing 4 unlimited black cards. No restrictions. 3 days of complete freedom. Then I'll see who they truly are when the mask can drop." "You're handing out unlimited credit like it's Halloween candy?" Mason asked incredulously. "That's not an experiment. That's chaos." But Ethan's mind was already in motion. First, Sophia Lang, she'd interpret it as proof of her irresistible worth. Next, Lauren Brooks, his razor-sharp VP of strategy, always claiming she could outmaneuver anyone. Time to see that outside conference rooms. Then Victoria Hale, she lived for optics, glamour, subtle power plays. Let her show what happens with no ceiling. He paused, gaze softening reluctantly. "And Ellie Grayson." Mason straightened. "Ellie, your housekeeper." Ethan's mouth curved faintly. "The one who sings slightly off-key Springsteen tunes while mopping. The one who once waved a spatula at me for touching her chili. Yes, her. The only person here who's never asked you for a single thing," Mason observed dryly. "The sanest one in this penthouse. And you're giving her unlimited temptation?" "Exactly. She's the only one I can't figure out. I need to know what real power looks like in her hands." Mason shook his head. "Ethan, this isn't bold, it's playing with fire." The next morning, 4 black envelopes waited on the walnut desk, each name scripted in silver like a high-stakes wager. Sophia arrived first, strutting in Louboutin in a dress that demanded attention. Ethan handed her the envelope with practiced nonchalance. "Breakup consolation or makeup bribe?" she purred. "Neither. 3 days, no limit." Her smile turned triumphant. "Finally admitting I'm worth it?" She left twirling the card between perfect nails. Lauren came next, tailored blazer, iPad ready, posture military straight. She arched a brow. "You're not sick, are you?" "Not yet," Ethan replied. "Consider it a bonus. 3 days. Spend it your way." She accepted it with cool professionalism, masking hunger, then left. Victoria swept in wearing head-to-toe Chanel, oversized sunglasses despite the overcast morning. She studied the card warily. "What's the catch, Ethan?" "No catch. 3 days. Enjoy." Her lips curved. She already had a vision. Finally, Ellie entered from the service hallway, dish towel slung over one shoulder, bowl of cornbread batter in hand. "Boss, that dishwasher's rattling again. Sounds like it's got bronchitis." Ethan slipped her the envelope quietly. She frowned. "You're letting me go?" "No, it's a gift." She opened it slowly. Her eyes widened at the matte black card. "You sure you're okay? Yesterday's meatloaf was, well, Let's just say it could have been a doorstop. Take it, Ellie. 3 days. Anything you want. She stared like he'd asked her to pilot a rocket. Anything? Seriously? Later that evening, Ethan nursed a bourbon while Mason pulled up the transaction log. 3 private jet charters to Vegas, a $22,000 cocktail dress, VIP tables at the Violet Room, celebrity chef booking for a private dinner, Mason listed flatly. Ethan smirked. Textbook. And Ellie? Mason hesitated. Bulk rice, acrylic paint sets, baby formula, used board games, and 250 packages of hot dogs. Ethan set his glass down slowly. Hot dogs, 250. Silence stretched. Then a genuine, surprised smile broke across his face. That I didn't see coming. For the first time in years, curiosity, not calculation, stirred inside him. The next day, unable to shake the anomaly, Ethan had Mason track the delivery van Ellie rented. Soon he was steering his black Range Rover through modest Southside neighborhoods. Row houses with American flags, kids' chalk drawings on sidewalks, bikes chained to fences. A different Chicago entirely. He found the van outside a low brick building, Southside Hope Youth Center. Back doors wide, Ellie in faded jeans and a Cubs t-shirt, ponytail swinging, carrying armloads of supplies with quiet purpose. Ethan watched from across the street. Her laughter floated over, real, unguarded. His throat tightened unexpectedly. Eventually, he crossed over and stepped inside. A middle-aged woman at reception looked up. "Can I help you?" "Ethan Harper. I'd like to see the center if possible." She smiled. "I'm Director Maria Torres. We're only able to keep the lights on thanks to folks like Ellie. She's a godsend." "Ellie," Ethan echoed. Maria nodded warmly. "She volunteers almost every weekend. Today the kids are having their big summer kickoff party, thanks to her generosity." Intrigued, Ethan followed her to a sunny courtyard bursting with life. Streamers, bounce houses, children shrieking with delight. In the center stood Ellie in full clown regalia, floppy shoes, rainbow wig, red nose, tempting balloon animals. When one burst, she laughed louder than the kids. Ethan leaned against the fence post, mesmerized. He'd watch people scheme for his time, his influence, his money. He'd never witnessed someone pour themselves out so freely with zero expectation of return. Ellie crouched beside a teary girl with a skinned elbow, producing a cartoon bandage. "This one's extra special," she whispered. "Heals twice as fast if you spin in a circle 3 times afterward." The girl giggled, spun, and suddenly believed she was unbreakable. Something deep inside Ethan shifted, admiration, regret, perhaps awakening. Ellie noticed him. She froze, nose swinging comically. "Mr. Harper? What are you doing here?" Heard about the party. Thought I could help." "From who?" she asked skeptically. "I have contacts in non-profits," he said unconvincingly. She sighed. "Fine, since you're here, grab an apron. 250 hot dogs aren't going to grill themselves." Ethan laughed despite himself. 250? "Kids eat like linebackers. Move it, boss." Minutes later, he was behind a smoking grill, fumbling tongs, ketchup splattered across his $3,000 shirt, nearly igniting napkins. Ellie teased, "Ever consider a new career like fire safety inspector?" The children adored him, tugging sleeves, asking endless questions, pressing sticky crayon masterpieces into his hands. "Are you super rich?" a boy named Jamal asked. "Sort of," Ethan admitted. "Can you buy a real dinosaur?" "No dinosaurs left, buddy." "Ellie says she saw a T-Rex footprint once," Jamal insisted. Ellie winked silently. By dusk, Ethan was bone-tired but oddly fulfilled. He helped pack away tables, pop remaining balloons. Finally, he asked, "Why do you do this? Give your time, your own money?" Ellie shrugged simply, "Because someone has to, and these kids deserve to feel important for one afternoon. I don't get a paycheck, but I get something better, seeing them smile." Ethan had no quick retort. The ache in his chest deepened. That night, the penthouse felt emptier than ever. He replayed Ellie's joy, her effortless selflessness. The next afternoon, he found her scrubbing pots, humming an off-key Born to Run. "Ellie," he said softly, "want to grab coffee? Somewhere normal?" She blinked. "Coffee? With you? You okay, boss? Midlife crisis hitting early?" "Maybe. Humor me." She glanced at her bleach-stained jeans. "I'm not exactly dressed for your world." "You look exactly right for mine today." 20 minutes later, they sat in a corner booth at a family-owned diner. Greasy spoons, vinyl seats, bottomless coffee. worlds apart from Ethan's usual Michelin star haunts. Ellie sipped and grinned. So this is Billionaire coffee? Tastes like the stuff from the corner gas station. That's the beauty, Ethan said quietly. It's just normal. For once, they simply existed. Two people bridging impossible distance over cheap mugs. And Ethan understood this quiet moment might be the truest thing he'd ever known. In the weeks that followed, Ethan's iron control began slipping. Ellie lingered in his thoughts. Not as staff, but as proof that kindness still existed without agenda. Sophia flaunted her haul at a black tie event, posting thirst traps in a gown that cost more than most people's annual mortgage. Lauren turned her spending into personal branding investments, presenting ROI charts like a pitch deck. Victoria threw a lavish charity ball at Navy Pier, ostensibly for causes, but really to cement her status among Chicago's power players. The night of that gala became the pivot. Ethan arrived in black tie, Mason at his flank. Victoria floated over, dripping diamonds. All this magic is because of you, darling. But his gaze caught Ellie near the edge. Simple black dress, hair in a soft twist, quietly showing a retired philanthropist photos of the South Side Hope kids. No performance, just earnest passion. He excused himself and approached. You came. Barely, she admitted. Maria said it might help the center get noticed. Mid-event, as champagne circulated, someone accidentally collided with Ellie, drenching her dress. Gasps rippled. Sophia smirked. Lauren looked away. Ellie froze, cheeks flaming with humiliation. Before she could flee, Ethan stepped in, shrugging off his jacket and draping it over her shoulders. Loud enough for nearby ears. The most valuable person here isn't wearing the priciest label. It's the one fighting to give kids a real future. Silence fell like a curtain. Ellie's grateful eyes met his. Whispers erupted afterward. Some called her a gold digger. Others said Ethan had finally cracked. Then the storm hit. Fabricated documents surfaced accusing Ellie of siphoning funds from Southside Hope. Out-of-context card photos fueled headlines. Billionaires made in charity embezzlement scandal. Investors panicked. Calls flooded in. Mason urged distance, but doubt poisoned the trust Ethan had begun to build. When he confronted her, Ellie's voice trembled with pain. After everything you witnessed, you actually believe I'd steal from children? I don't know what to believe anymore, he confessed. She left that night, quietly, apron folded on the counter, no backward glance. The penthouse became a tomb, yet memories refused to fade. Ellie in clown paint, holding a scared child's hand, face glowing with pure joy. Ethan dug. With Mason's help, he uncovered the plot. Sophia and Lauren had colluded, leaking doctored records to sabotage Ellie and reclaim influence. Armed with proof, Ethan marched into a private club meeting packed with skeptical investors. The woman you vilified is the reason dozens of Chicago kids have meals, books, safety. The real frauds aren't her. They're the ones in this room, wearing their privilege like armor while destroying good people. The fallout was brutal. Sophia and Lauren's social capital evaporated overnight. Victoria vanished from the scene. Ethan drove straight to Southside Hope. Kids mobbed him instantly, hugs, questions, drawings. Then he saw Ellie on the floor, patiently explaining fractions to a shy boy. Their eyes met. Words weren't needed at first. I was wrong, he said quietly. I'm so sorry. She searched his face. Do you trust me now? I don't just trust you, Ethan replied, voice rough. I want to stand next to you, not as your employer, not as some test subject, but as someone who finally gets what it means to live for more than yourself. Tears shimmered in her eyes. Slowly she smiled. Months passed, the penthouse filled with weekend chaos, children's laughter bouncing off once sterile walls. Together, Ethan and Ellie grew Southside Hope into a citywide foundation supporting at-risk youth. Mason joked that Ethan's best return on investment wasn't in tech stocks or lakefront property. It was in heart. One warm July evening, beneath twinkling string lights in the center's courtyard, Ethan and Ellie said their vows. The kids formed a ragtag choir, voices wobbly but bursting with happiness. No extravagance, just truth, second chances, and love. For the first time, Ethan Harper wasn't alone at the summit. He was finally home. The real lesson this story carries is simple yet profound. True wealth isn't measured by bank balances, private jets, or social status. It's found in integrity, in choosing kindness when no one is watching, in giving without expecting return. Money can buy almost anything, except genuine human connection, trust, and the quiet joy of making someone else's life brighter. Ellie showed Ethan and us that the most powerful currency is compassion. In a world obsessed with accumulation, choosing to give freely is the ultimate act of strength. If this tale moved you, drop a 100 in the comments so I know you stayed until the end. Let me know which state or country you are watching from. I love seeing how far these stories reach. And if you believe more people need reminders about what really matters, please share this video with someone who might need it today. Hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a story that might just change how you see the world. Thank you for being here.